On3 right now, Syracuse has the 10th best high school recruiting class in the country in 2024. Now, you might be saying, how can that be the case? They only have 2 players. Well, it's basketball recruiting, not football recruiting. In basketball, it's a lot about the quality of the player that you are getting rather than the totality of the class, so the amounts. Basically, it's quality over quantity when ranking recruiting in basketball. Because most teams have pretty small classes, 2 to 3, maybe 4 if you're lucky, right? The Blue Bloods sometimes will get 5 to 6 players. For the most part, it's 2 to 3 players in every class. Syracuse has 2. One of them is Donnie Freeman, who is a consensus 5-star recruit, and the other is Elijah Moore, who is a consensus 4-star recruit. So you can see why Syracuse is ranked pretty highly, especially because Donnie Freeman is one of the best players in the nation on his own. So that is why Syracuse has a top 10 class in 2024, which is a good thing. We'll take a top 10 class however we can get it, right? It's like, let's say Syracuse were to land the number 1 player in the country, which in 2024 was Cooper Flagg. Let's say they landed Cooper Flagg, and that was the only player they landed in the class. That class would be top 5. On its own, it would be a top 5 class because that player is so elite. Kind of a similar deal with Donnie Freeman. You also tack on Elijah Moore, you get a top 10 class. Now in 2023, maybe the dark ages of Syracuse basketball recruiting, Syracuse had get ready for it. It kind of hurts to read and kind of hurts to look at because I have the number on my phone here. Syracuse had the 149th ranked class in 2023 just on high school recruiting. This is just high school recruiting, not commit class. The commit class wasn't great either. It was a 149th. That is because the only player that Syracuse brought in 2023 from high school was William Patterson. That was it. It was only William Patterson, who was a 3-star prospect who transferred from Syracuse after this season. Not great. Nothing against William Patterson, but that's the only player you bring in. That's not a great recruiting class, and there's a reason why it's ranked 149th. So already, they're trending upwards because last year they had the 10th, and the year before that they were at 149. They already have Sadiq White, and it's too early right now with the amount of players that haven't committed yet in 2025. It's too early to see where Syracuse falls, but if you were to have Sadiq White on your own, you're looking at probably a top 30 class overall in the nation, just only if you get Sadiq White. So they're already trending pretty well, right? Let's compare this potential class to 2022. The 2022 class is a class that I have frequently brought up here on this podcast because a lot of players played from that class. There were 6 total, 6 of them. 3 of them were 4 stars, 3 3-stars in 2022. It was ranked as the 19th best recruiting class in the country because, like I said earlier, it was a great class. They had a lot of volume in it, but none of the prospects were even close to Donnie Freeman as a prospect. Even Judah Mintz, who I'm going to get to in a second, even Judah Mintz was not on the level of Donnie Freeman of recruiting, which is why Syracuse has the 10th best class in 2024 with 2 players, but with 6 players in 2022, they were 19th. So let's get to Judah Mintz because he was the highest ranked recruit in that class. He was ranked as high as the 36th best player over on ESPN. So that's pretty good. Not slighting Judah Mintz by any means. That's good. And obviously he panned out. I know that the fan base, it's kind of split on him as to, was he really that great for the team or not? I'm in favor of that. He was really good for the team and everything like that, even though he did have his weaknesses. But overall, I don't think any of us can deny that he panned out. that if you get a player who's ranked 36th in the country and he plays 2 seasons for you, he finishes second on the team in scoring 1 year, leads the team in scoring another year, finishes second team All ACC, that's a hit. You hit, right? And obviously he's trying to make it in the NBA now. Judah Mintz, as a prospect, I'm speaking as a prospect, where he was ranked on all these recruiting services combined together, if you were to put him in the class of 2025, let's say Syracuse were to land the best case scenario, Sadiq White, Kiyan Anthony, Tyler Jackson, and Acaden Lewis, Judah Mintz would slot in as the third best player in the class. Sadiq White would be number 1. Kiyan Anthony is a more highly rated prospect. And then number 3 would be Judah Mintz. And Judah Mintz is basically about the same as what Tyler Jackson is. Or not Tyler Jackson, what Acaden Lewis is in recruiting. The other 4 stars in 2022 were Chris Bell and Justin Taylor. Now, Chris Bell is entering his junior year. He has certainly panned out, in my opinion. He's not a complete player, but he is still a very good player at the college level. Justin Taylor didn't quite work out. We'll see how he does at James Madison, where he transferred there. They were the other 4 stars in the 2022 class. They would be the lowest rated players in 2025. Again, no shot to them, no slight to them. I'm just going by based on what the recruiting services are saying. If you were to rank all the players and compare it to 2022, Sadiq White would be number 1. You would have Kiyan Anthony number 2. Then you would have Judah Mintz at 3. Acaden Lewis at 4. Tyler Jackson at 5. And then Bell and Taylor. Bell and Taylor would be last. Those were the 4-star recruits in 2022. And Judah Mintz was obviously the highest, followed by Bell and Taylor. Bell and Taylor were more on the lower end 4-star recruits. They were on the lower end. They were right around where Elijah Moore is honestly ranked. There's nothing wrong with that. You could still obviously be a very good player like Chris Bell. But this is kind of my point here about this 2025 class. That, these players are 4 stars that they're targeting for the most part, but they're not just any 4 stars. They are elite 4 stars, top 50 players in the country. In 2022, they only had 1 top 50 player, and that was Judah Mintz, even though they had that whole volume and everything. If you're asking about Malik Brown, he was a 3-star prospect. Obviously, 3 stars can hit 2. So overall, 2025, if they can get Tyler Jackson and they can get Kiyan Anthony, and they are the favorites for them right now, they are the favorites. If you go check the On3 prediction machine, they are the favorites. And hopefully they can cash that in and land those 2 at least. You can get Acaden Lewis. Now you're looking at 4. I don't want to talk about what would happen more than that, because if they can get anyone else, that would be crazy. But if you can get those 4, I would already be through the moon. So overall, Syracuse is potentially looking at having a back-to-back top 10 recruiting class for the first time since they did it 3 years in a row, which was from 2014 to 2016. That's what they're looking at right now. It's been a long time, but they did it 3 years in a row from 2014 to 2016, and they are looking at doing that again, once again. This would just be 2 years in a row, but I think we'd all take it.